Joining me, as on every Thursday, is Nationals frontbencher Barnaby Joyce, the former Deputy Prime Minister, who didn't quite look that way when he was filmed on his back in the street after, he says, mixing alcohol and prescription pills. He's come under a lot of criticism since. Calls for him to stand down. As party leader, and I should say rival, David Littleproud, has very helpfully suggested he go away for a holiday. I suspect David would rather that it was a holiday that never ended. The good news for us is that Barnaby could have called off this spot tonight, hidden for a while, but as is wont with this man, he fronted up. Barnaby Joyce, always great to see you, particularly tonight.
Thanks, Andrew.
This week has been an embarrassment for you. How hard has it been?
Oh, well, it's my fault, isn't it, Andrew? And I've said that from the start. If I hadn't had those drinks, I wouldn't have had the opportunity for someone to film me on the street. So the only thing that put me there was myself. I accept responsibility for that and apologise for it. And that's. But you know, I also understand that people now, you know, after they've had a look, they want to move on with other things like how much their power bill's costing them and why renewables are not working and how much their groceries are costing them. And I think that's, out of respect for them, I think I'm not hiding everything. Everything moves on.
Just on that last point, are we getting the full story? Because your father-in-law, for instance, suggested you'd been given some devastating news just before that call that you were filmed making. Is that true?
Well, Andrew, I just wanted this to rest on my shoulders and not sort of go through the public iterations. I just think that on all these things, the first person I talk to obviously is Vicky and those close to me. And if there are other issues that surround it, I don't have a licence to drag other people into my life, and I'm not going to do that.
So there is a backstory, although you don't want to give it, there is a backstory you suggest that might put it in context.
I just think, look, I did the wrong thing and it rests on my head, and that's it. That's all you need to say. I was the one who fell off the planter box. I was the one who was videoed in the street. It's my fault. I did the wrong thing. That's it. The end.
Was this a shot at you today by Independent MP Zali Steggall, who does a very nice line in Sanctimony? Here she is.
Numerous workplaces in Australia have random alcohol and drug testing to help ensure a safe and respectful working environment. Will you commit to legislating for random alcohol and drug testing of MPs, senators and staff in the federal parliament due to the apparent ongoing issues with too much alcohol consumption?
There have been, of course, issues from time to time in the parliament. But one of the things about our jobs is we're accountable. Every 3 years, at least, we go to the Australian people and we're accountable. I would have thought that we are all responsible adults and we should act appropriately out of respect for the people who vote to put us here.
So was that suggestion from Zali Steggall fortuitously timed? Was that a good idea or just a cheap shot from, like I say, someone who is pretty good at sanctimony?
Yeah, well, obviously it's directed at me. I thought Zali, because she's interested in renewables, would be advocating renewables off the beach at Manly and transmission lines for the people at Mossman, and maybe 3 wind factory or or 2. They could put one at Middle Head, but no, it's she's very moved by this issue. I might say that the person who videoed me when I did the wrong thing, I was not in Parliament. Obviously, I was outside Parliament. But you know, that's Ms. Steggall. If she wants to run a dry office, that's completely and utterly her business, and you know, she can lead by example. And you know, I have absolutely compliment her if she wishes to do that.
And final question on this topic, because I know you want to move on, but I just want to make sure there's nothing left to talk about. The suggestion is that that she's trying to make, I assume, trying to get inside her head, is that you have a drinking problem. Do you have a drinking problem?
No, I don't. I don't, and I can affirm that. I obviously have a problem if you mix alcohol with medication, and that was shown in brilliant form. I go long periods without ever having a drink, and so I'll stand by that. All of these things worry you. I've obviously made sure I've checked that, and it's been confirmed you don't have a drinking problem. You just shouldn't drink on medication, mate.
You mentioned Zali Steggall. She's a global warming warrior, but as far as I can tell, there's not a single big wind tower in her electorate. She's very happy to have wind towers everywhere else but her own. The blackouts in Victoria over the past couple of days, what is the lesson there, do you think?
Well, the lesson there this is the more serious part, is we are destroying our nation's grid. Okay, what you saw there with 500,000 people going into blackouts is what happens when you have this cultish-like attachment to wind factories and solar factories, thinking that it'll take the place of baseload power. Now, as I said, when they got rid of Hazelwood and Liddell, you would have no problems, everything would be fine. But you're seeing now your power prices going through the roof, and then the second part, your reliability. Yes, folks, it's going through the floor, and they're overseas companies, the money's going overseas. And why is that a great environmental plan, to be swindled out of money by foreign multinationals, predominantly China and Europe, who the fruits of it at the end are blackouts?
Barnaby, I really appreciate you fronting up, taking the questions. Next week, it's all down to business. Thank you so much, and all strength to you. Thank you very much.